Hello. Welcome back to WWE 2K25 Showcase. This week, Naomi, Bayley, Heyman, you're up.
Next on our showcase is someone who wasn't born into this family, but has put in the time and more than earned her spot. She's always happy to leave haters in the rear view, and when she enters the room, you will undoubtedly feel the glow. Of course, I'm talking about Naomi, who many of you may know has reigned as Jimmy Uso's wife and queen for over 10 years. There's the old saying that behind every good man is an even better woman. And this could not ring more true than Naomi, who I will say is an absolute treasure. Jimmy will frequently speak during old bloodline planning sessions about how much her support and love drove him to improve as a superstar, always stressing her importance not only to the WWE Women's Division, but to his career and his life as well. In the ring, there is no denying Naomi's skills. The former women's tag team and two-time Smackdown women's champion has the mental tenacity to push through the toughest part of any match and possesses breathtaking physical skills. Naomi uses her dancing background to constantly innovate with her offense, resulting in some of the most beautiful moves you will ever see, unless you're on the receiving end of them. Naomi is an inspiration to so many of our younger members of the WWE Universe, showing a new generation that anything is possible if you just put in the work and never stop believing in yourself. Naomi has battled against the very best in the women's division, taking on foes like Charlotte Flair, Bayley, Shayna Baszler, and Io Sky.
My favorite moment of Naomi was when she won the title in her hometown, Orlando, at WrestleMania.
To compete against that caliber and maintain the level of success that Naomi has for her entire WWE career is something worth, shall I dare say, acknowledging. Naomi has even teamed with fellow family member Tamina through the years, proving the family you choose can often be the most important. And in true Uso fashion, Naomi shows an unrelenting desire to win, to achieve greatness, and to dominate her opposition. Many mistake her smile as a sign of kindness, but they quickly realize their mistake as Naomi unleashes a flurry of kicks, flies at them with moonsaults from all angles, and then ties them up in knots. Naomi is having fun, but Naomi is never playing. And now, we take you back to the 2020 edition of Super Showdown, which saw Naomi challenge Bayley for the Smackdown Women's Championship. Unfortunately, a ridiculously lax referee decided it was just fine for Bayley to basically do whatever the hell she wanted.
Bayley, oh my gosh, she's trapping Naomi's legs in her shirt!
And Naomi wound up suffering an embarrassing loss after Bayley used wardrobe to her advantage. Well, Bayley, we can pretty much guarantee that trick won't work again. This is your chance to help guide Naomi to a third SmackDown Women's Championship, and to do it by defeating one of the greatest competitors WWE has ever seen. Your wise man has nothing but respect and admiration for Bayley's abilities, but those abilities are eclipsed by Naomi's extraordinary trinity: smarts, strength, and aerial attacks that should give all of you everything you need to get the win and the title.
Sorry, Heyman, did you just say she had a trinity and it was smarts, tactics as well? You just made a pun off her real name. That's what I'm struggling to get at. No, yeah, a pun off of her real name, which is actually Trinity. It was also her name in TNA / Impact Wrestling, whatever it was at the time she was there. Because they because they were TNA Wrestling for a while, and they went to Impact Wrestling for a while. Now they're back to TNA Wrestling, which is kind of good, but they're probably not going to be changing their name anytime soon. Anyway. But yeah, Naomi, one to proceed with caution around due to recent events, but this is back when she was still in her glow phase, where she was having black lights and all her gear was reactive to it, which was kind of cool, but I was also one I never cared for it. But I know a lot of people liked it, so I mean, I can't say too much. If people liked it, you just move on and go with it. And the opposition being Bayley, one of the most successful women's wrestlers in WWE, one of the first, one of the pioneers of the women's revolution they had in WWE, with her and the other 4 horsewomen, which was her, Charlotte Flair, Becky Lynch, and Sasha Banks. And yeah, the 4 of them were kind of the 4 women that pioneered women's wrestling for WWE, from the little, here's a 30-second snippet, and there were others as well, but like, it was kind of weird, like, oh yeah, Raw and Smackdown, the women are getting 5 minutes, maybe. 5 minutes is being generous, I'll be honest. And NXT, they've got 10 to 15 with the rest of the show, and if they're on a pay-per-view card, they've got about 15 to 20 minutes to do their match, and they were really, really good. Heck, one of my favorite matches, the one that pretty much made me a fan of Bayley, was when she took on Sasha Banks for the NXT Women's title at TakeOver Brooklyn, the original. It was a good match. It was a lot chaotic and fun, and it was also at the time where in NXT, if you got pulled up like Sasha Banks had with the belt, that generally meant you were losing the championship at the next available title defense. Thus, when the match got confirmed for Brooklyn, everyone's all like, okay, so chances are she's going to lose to her. She'll move on, and that was it. But yeah, Sasha Banks, when she got called up to the main roster, she was teaming with Naomi and Tamina, which Heyman kind of referred to there, but not entirely. Referred to their team up as with Sasha Banks, that was known as Team Bad, which stood for Beautiful and Dangerous. Wasn't a faction I was a big fan of, but it was also at the time where the Divas Championship at the time was in a death grip by Nikki Bella, who I was not the biggest fan of because she beat AJ Lee for that title. I will never let that go. And then, yeah, I can go on a full tangent with that, but Naomi, with her start, was actually in NXT pre when Triple H took it over. It was still kind of a cheesy game show where they would compete in essentially like your college fraternity type games. So like they would do, at least on the men's side, they would do like keg races where you had to race with a keg and all these other stupid stuff, and maybe you had a 10-minute match against another NXT rookie, and I say rookie in air quotes that you can't see, because at one point they had Daniel Bryan as an NXT rookie when he was a well-established and traveled veteran. But it's kind of one of those things, if it didn't happen in WWE, you didn't exist. But that was the old Vince McMahon way of doing things, which was actually kind of true, because there was an interview with AJ Styles where he said Vince McMahon didn't even know who he was until he signed, and didn't think he was going to get that big of a reaction he did at the Royal Rumble. But that was proven wrong rather quickly. And he's probably one of the best in-ring workers ever. Same with these two women, in Naomi and Bayley. Yeah. I will always go down, I am more of a Bayley fan than a Naomi fan. I'm only playing as Naomi because I have to. That's just a fact. Fly. Alright. Other than that, this match was one of those Saudi matches which was actually not really an older, but definitely an older one, in the grounds that when they first started bringing women to the Saudi shows, they would wear, obviously, the skin-tight suit, but then they would have to wear a big and long shirt to cover everything. But, now they just have to cover everything. I think they can get away with, their hands, but, everything from the neck below has to be covered, and, which, it's a positive note. I know these Saudi shows are kind of iffy, which I think is part of the reason WWE's been putting King and Queen of the Ring on the Saudi shows, so people can watch them. Yeah, kind of that little, you're not gonna watch the Saudi shows, so let's put King and Queen of the Ring on them, so now either A, you're going to watch the shows, or B, nobody will watch the shows, and it'll justify us not keeping the tournament. Meanwhile, this is how Bayley did win this match, was she, like you kind of saw in the clip, she tripped over the foot, she kind of tugged the foot in the shirt, hit the rose plants, and basically pinned her that way. I don't know why Heyman's upset, oh, the referee let her do whatever she wants. The referee, she didn't technically do anything wrong. She used the gear to the advantage. That's also kind of like a Danhausen thing to do. Using the teeth are fine because teeth are in the human body. Thus, it counts as contact, even though biting's illegal. Yeah. But I digress. I could probably rant and moan about so many other wrestling rules that are written, unwritten, should be written, will probably get erased to time, but it doesn't matter. It's always going to change up, and she did not tap out. Yep. Don't sin. Hey, no. Ref, move. Ref, move. Thank you. Yep. Kicked out. Alright. What can we do now? You jerk. Alright. Yep. Figures. Right when I want to reverse, I can't reverse. But finally got the reversal. Oh, another reversal and a dodge. Alright. Okay. Shake it off. Shake it off. Dodge. And reverse the Irish whip, which is going to give me the rear view. Ball game. 1, 2, 3. See y'all Sunday for episode number 13 for Sonic Colors, and next week for the next match in this showcase, which is going to be the Dudley Boys versus the Wild Samoans. That's going to be a fun one, because I'm looking forward to it. And we will catch you all then. See you later.